We're here to tell you all about the 2023 Jeep Compass Trailhawk with a new engine. No other reviewer has an evil twin.
You're just going to have to figure out which one is the evil one. Unless you've been living under a rock deep in the woods where Wranglers roam, you know that the whole world is gravitating towards SUVs and crossovers. This gives Jeep a big advantage because that's all it sells. The Compass is one size up from the tiny Renegade and slots in under the Cherokee. Like those two, it's sold in a blizzard of different trims. If you really, truly, honestly believe you're going off-road, the more capable Trailhawk is the one to choose. It doesn't have much competition. Subaru's Forester Wilderness is the only one that comes to mind, but other Compasses would be cross-shopped with rigs like Mazda CX-5, Honda CR-V, and Volkswagen Tiguan, to name a few. Every Compass gets all-wheel drive standard, and the same engine is used across the model line. So if all you want is rugged transportation to get you to the good hiking trails, maybe consider the base Sport. It starts at $30,000. Yes, that includes destination, though if you want paint other than white, that's an extra $500. I'm driving the more capable Trailhawk. It starts at just under $36,000. This one is fully loaded, as tested, 46.3. Yeah, quite a price spread. Looking at MSRP, that's some $3,000 more than a loaded Toyota RAV4 Adventure. I'll point out that vehicle supply seems to be getting better. Get out there and shop hard, or be more discerning with the option packages. These heated and vented leather chairs are part of the $3,200 Elite group that adds a kick-to-open tailgate and a configurable gauge cluster, among many other things. The $2,600 Driver's Assist package includes surround view camera system, automated parking assist, phone charge pad, and a decent highway assist driving system. And then there's the $2,600 Sun and Sound package with the big glass roof and punchy Alpine sound. So this is where the money's going, folks. 2022 models were freshened outside and in, so Compass wears the Jeep badge in style. The fine folks of Seattle seem to like it. It got a lot of compliments. But the real improvement is under the sheet metal. The engine that's standard across the board is all new. Replacing a 2.4-liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder is a more powerful 2-liter twin-scroll turbocharged 4 with better isolation using hydraulic mounts. It makes 200 horsepower and 221 pound-feet of torque. The transmission is a new 8-speed. Manual shifts are done here, no steering wheel paddles. These are handy controls for the sound system. All Compasses get Jeep's Active Drive 4-wheel drive system, but Trailhawk gets a special low gear with a 20-to-1 crawl ratio. In addition to the 4 select train settings, Trailhawk gains a rock mode. You won't need it in the Starbucks drive-thru, but it could come in handy in rugged conditions. Same with the half-inch of extra ground clearance, skid plates, off-road tires, and fashion-forward recovery points. That kit is why Trailhawk is the only Compass to earn this badge.
Compass is quicker now. That doesn't make it a track hawk. I would say 0 to 60 happens in just over 8 seconds, about average. Throttle response a little bit touchy off the line, makes it feel quicker than it is. The Turbo 4 is definitely an improvement over the naturally aspirated engine. It feels smoother, it sounds better.
Seems like there's more mid-range power for passing, too. The 2.4-liter could feel sluggish in those situations. No one wants that.
The transmission is a big improvement as well. The outgoing 9-speed tended to upshift aggressively, causing the engine to kind of bog, and some of the shifts were aggressive and clumsy. This one just does its thing in the background. Really nice.
Compass is a smaller vehicle, around 10 inches shorter than Kia Sportage, making it easier to parallel park in the city. The two are about the same height and width. Looking for flat cornering and sports car road feel? Maybe go with the Mazda. Jeep has dialed on-road driving dynamics towards pleasant and relaxed. Don't forget, this is the Trailhawk. Other models might improve on that.
Even with tires that are oriented for a little bit more bite in the dirt, there's not an awful lot of road noise. And this road is kind of rough. This is kind of comfortable. It would be great in the city. And let's face it, most people are going to be driving the Compass on-road. But this definitely has off-road chops. That's what we in the biz call a Segway.
At the 2023 Mudfest SUV of the Year competition, put on by the Northwest Automotive Press Association, Trailhawk had no trouble at all. This is the moderate off-road section that all vehicles took on. And if all you need is all-wheel drive to get you to the trailhead, any Compass will do that, but the Trailhawk will take you further. The Jeep folks pointed it to the extreme course with more mud and steeper grades. The approach and departure angles are better with the Trailhawk. It fords 19 inches of H2O. And if you take on stuff like this, then yeah, the extra capability might be worth it. Chances are, though, most of these will spend most of their miles on pavement.
Compass's reworked suspension is a huge win. I drove the old one from Seattle to the Oregon coast, some 250 miles. And I gotta say, I dreaded driving that thing back. There was lots of body roll, everything was sloppy, on-center feel was vague. This setup takes care of almost all of that. This is not a sports car, but it is much better for road tripping.
2023 models get a larger rear stabilizer bar, which has to help. It can tow 2,000 pounds, and not only is the Turbo 4 punchier, it's also more efficient than the outgoing 2.4-liter by a couple mpg.
According to the EPA, the average fuel economy of the Compass is 27 miles per gallon. That's okay. And this is not available as a hybrid.
RAV4, Sportage, Tucson, and CR-V are.
Nearly all modern vehicles have an automatic engine stop-start system. I like to test them out. This one, pretty darn smooth at shutdown. Now, it can be turned off. I've kind of come to enjoy the quietness while I'm waiting at a stoplight. On startup, yeah, smooth enough. You got a choice.
The cockpit that was redone last year is definitely more upscale than the one it replaced. That one had a plasticky look to the dash. Materials work well in here. Stitching elevates the space, though remember, this is 46 grand. Stuff feels good too. True, there are budget feels down low, and black shiny plastic is easy to scratch, but overall, it's nice in here. At this price, the wheel is heated, seats with deep bolstering hug the front passengers exceptionally well. These are comfy. Larger people might want to try them on for size. Jeep's Uconnect 5 interface has a more powerful processor, so response is excellent. It can be configured to make it easier for drivers to use with less distraction. I still find there can be some busyness with small icons on some screens. There are a solid amount of buttons and knobs, so not everything is done with a monitor. Wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay too. Compass's cabin is a little snug, but there are still the expected storage cubbies all around.
So the 400 and 500 pound gorillas in this segment are Honda CR-V and RAV4. Stop. I know where you're going with this. No, the Compass's back seat is not as roomy as those two. Let's start with headroom. We're both 5'9", got plenty of that. Knee, leg, and foot room is good too, just not as generous as RAV4 and CR-V. But the cushions are very comfortable, high with good thigh support, and the doors open really wide. It's easy to get car seats in and out. Door pockets are about as big as you're gonna get on a rig this size, and pockets on both seat backs. Always a win. I wouldn't expect a separate climate zone back here in a vehicle like this. Nice that there are both kinds of USB ports. And if you want to add more, down here. Ooh, tags. The spine is on the moderate side. Normally that in and of itself is not a big deal, but combined with the fact that the bench isn't overly wide, makes this a classic case of belts for 3, but keeping it to 2. A couple adults will be comfortable back here.
As far as design goes, Compass has the rugged appearance that people seem to want these days. It's a small sport ute with a planted, purposeful look, but because it's on the shorter side, it's tall and boxy from some angles. Chances are you won't forget that you got the Trailhawk. Oh, and Jeep is the king of Easter eggs. Here's just a few of them that I found. Looks like the brand wants to upsell folks into a Wrangler.
I recently tested the Honda CR-V Hybrid, and it took on this many packs of softness and absorbency. 9. Gotta love a standardized measurement metric. A thoughtful touch, this mat is reversible. What side would you rather clean if you're throwing muddy gear back here? And along the same lines, the load floor is reversible. This is much easier to wash off, and a full-size spare. That's really important if you're truly going to go off-road. A couple of handy bag hooks back here, check. And I really like where they put the hatch closure button. It's great for petite folks.
There's power back here too. This space isn't terribly deep, so it's easy to reach in and drop the seat backs. No pass-through or 40-20-40 split. Those are always nice to have. Maxed out, you're looking at just under 60 cubic feet, which could haul a significant amount of camping gear. Now, I always do the TP trunk test with the backs up, which would give you 27 cubic feet. Ultimately, it falls short of larger vehicles in this class, of course, 6 packs of the 2-ply. Now, one disadvantage of the closure button is that sometimes it can be hard to reach with the cargo area full. Most of the time, it's not an issue. All right, let's move on to red light, green light. Green light. The new turbocharged 4-cylinder engine is smoother, more powerful, and more efficient. A redone suspension makes Compass a far more appealing vehicle to drive. Trailhawk has true off-road chops. This is not just a poser. For the most part, I like the way the interior is finished, and the seats are terrific. Yellow lights. The turbocharged 4 is more efficient, but 27 miles per gallon average is far less than what you'd get from hybrids. Uconnect 5 is excellent tech with snappy touch response. Some screens can get a little busy. Yes, it takes on tough terrain. Just don't fool yourself into thinking this is a Wrangler. Red lights. Loaded up with equipment that people want, Compass gets pricey fast. For larger folks, it's not as roomy as, say, RAV4 and CR-V in the cabin, and same goes for the cargo area. But at least Jeep offers a physical spare tire. For many buyers, Renegade is too small. There are various thoughts on Cherokee's fate, and Grand Cherokee might be too large and expensive for many. That leaves Compass as the reasonably sized and priced Jeep if this brand is the image you're looking for.
For buyers that are actually going to hit the trails, Compass is not a bad choice. Sure, the Trailhawk, as tested, all loaded up, is kind of expensive, but the bargain is the Sport and the Latitude. They come with the same engine. They come with all-wheel drive standard.
The slightly more compact size is either a plus or a minus, depending on preference, and Trailhawk offers a good balance of city comfort and backwoods capability. The 2023 Compass, with its new powertrain, is a big improvement over the 2022. You might say it's found its direction. Okay, sorry about the pun. Now, when I'm talking about the competition, I'm mainly focused on crossover-type SUVs, but $46,000 will buy a basic Wrangler Willys if you're really looking to tear up the trails. There are so many ways to get yourself into the great outdoors. Buy the tool you need. Some behind the scenes. There are many moving parts to these videos, and normally I bat close to 1,000 when I'm shooting them. Sometimes things go awry, like audio. I check it this way. It tells me if the sound is being recorded by the GoPro or the mic that I'm wearing. Sometimes things don't connect properly. This time, even though it did, and I checked, my interface went bad, and most of what I recorded sounded like this. That means my shout out to the awesome Martin Campbell for driving duties is pretty lame. Go get yourself a friend like Martin. Thanks, Martin.
Before I go, I just wanted to say special thanks to all of you that have contributed to this channel using YouTube Super Thanks and Venmo. It really helps a lot. I mean, you would think that I'm getting rich with all of the ads that Google is putting on these videos, but no, it hardly works out to minimum wage. I mean, look, I have a great job, it's loads of fun, and I love giving you good information and good photography. And what I would really like to do is turn off all the ads. And I could do that if every single one of my subscribers would chip in $1 annually. That would be so much better for all of us, wouldn't it? That's not the way the internet works, though. Everybody wants everything for free. Well, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to this channel and click notifications. Follow me on social media. There's Twitter, Post, and Facebook. And if you have a question, leave it in the comments. I will try to get back to you, but there's a lot of you asking a lot of questions. It takes a lot of time. That's Driven. I'm Tom Volk.